Hello again, and as you know, we are discussing how to make complex sentences or how to bring variety of structures to obtain better band skill in GRA or grammar part. We have already discussed conditional sentences. We have discussed relative clause. Now we are going to discuss dependent clauses. Perhaps all of what we have learned in conditional sentences and relative clauses uh, are applicable here as well, but this comes under a definite another kind of classification. So dependent clause means a sentence that begins with a word, which can be an adverb, it can be an adjective depending on that, but that begins the clause, but it is not a complete sentence. It depends on another one sentence to complete it. And these are the example as you can see here, right? So if you say, although the environment has become one of the biggest issues for the authorities these days. Now, see, even if it's a long sentence, it's not a complete sentence. That means it depends on another sentence to complete its meaning. That's why they are known as dependent clause. They have got a subject, they have got a verb, but they are not complete. So if I add, although environment has become one of the biggest issues for the authority across the world, no one is paying adequate attention to the issue. Now the sentence is complete. So another sentence that we have added, that is known as independent clause, right? So whenever we make dependent, and you see, whenever we make, I say, so whenever we make dependent clause, now this is not a complete sentence, we have to add. So even whenever can be used. So this list is not, has included every word. It's not possible actually, but most of the popular expressions that is used to begin dependent clauses have been used here, right? That can be helpful for you. So I hope you should know the meaning of all of them while using. And now all the examples of relative clauses like who, when, which, that, whom, where, when, whatever we have learned there, again, they are also a kind of dependent clause because they cannot make a complete sentences on itself, right? And even the conditional sentences where we use if or provided that or on the condition that or when, if we use, all those are part, because if you work hard, now we can see this is not a complete sentence, this is a dependent clause. We need another independent sentence to complete. If you work hard, you will pass the exam. Well, one thing is important, that if you are using them in the beginning of the sentence, then once it finishes, the clause, once dependent clause is finished, you have to use a comma. So let's go through some example. See, although appreciable efforts have been made by many governments recently, so you can see comma here, that's dependent clause, not complete. Wiping out human trafficking seems insurmountable. If you don't know the meaning, it's very challenging. That's the meaning of this. All right. Let's see the second example. Unless emergency services are given more financial support, that's dependent clause. It's not complete. The number of fatalities will continue to rise even if other measures are adopted. Another one. So you can see there are two dependent clause. So if you say even if other measures are adopted, it's not a complete sentence. But the number of fatality will continue to rise. It seems to be a complete sentence in itself. So here we can see two dependent clause. You can see the two dependent clause and one independent clause. So these they are known as compound sentence. You once you know complex sentence, they are compound sentence, right? So if you have two dependent clause and one independent clause, if you're adding it together, they are known as compound sentence. Let's look at the third example. So as to protect children, who may be influenced by the power of peer pressure. Now see, this entire is again it's a compound sentence, so as to protect children. I'm adding further to the condition who may be, so I'm just giving additional info. So here you can see additional informations about children I'm giving. So it's a kind of relative clause, who may be influenced by the power of peer pressure, right? So I'm giving additional information about children here, right? The government educates them about the danger of drugs and clamp down heavily on drug abuse by minor, right? The last example, in order to reduce the crime rates, this is in order to, that's dependent clause, the government should provide greater funding for the police and punishments should be made stricter. So I have these words are very important, and you know, if you can recall the band official band descriptors, it says that if you're using all complex sentences, variety of structures in grammar, you can get up to 9 band scale. So how important if on the other hand you're using simple sentences, you will be 6 even if you are 100% accurate in grammar, right? So with that, I'm leaving you in this video. Thank you very much for watching it. See you soon in the next video. Bye.